It is the Flow Friday Night Sports Show, and let's have a look at Eastern Eyre football. Big win for Central Eyre United over the weekend, and a man who's going up and back, up and back, up and back, round and round, more so up and back than round and round at the moment. Jarrad Sampson, how are you, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. Yeah, a lot of up and back, mate. Not so much round and round. So long days, but yeah, we're getting there halfway through, so not long to go now.
Not long to go. Hopefully a bit of wet stuff across the weekend or the next few days at least to help just pat it down a touch.
It'd be nice to chuck a lasso around those clouds heading over east, wouldn't it? They're going to get wet over there, mate. Maybe half of that would be nice, but yeah, we've been more fortunate than others this year, so I won't complain too much.
Fair enough. Well, let's talk about on-footy field stuff. You weren't fortunate on the weekend. You were too good for the mighty Kimber Tigers. The Central Eyre United Storm, 17-11-113. Too good for Kimber, 11-86 at Kind Cutter. The Tigers, you beat them very, very comfortably in the end, mate.
Yeah, it was a good win, mate. We still scratching to find the words of the song, to be honest. Having only had a couple of wins last year, so a bit of confusion in the rooms afterwards. But yeah, great to bounce back from the loss the week before against Ports, and yeah, just put some solid form on the board. Obviously, COVID reared its head on the weekend, had quite a number out. Both Kimber had come off a couple of weeks and missing players too, so quite happy to put that behind us. Probably more so the volunteers that hit more than anyone. It was a struggle to get the day off the ground, but credit to everyone that pitched in. It was a rip day for footy, not a breath of wind. So just a pity the COVID struck and kept the crowd away. Brilliant.
Yep. So it's tough times with the vid getting around and doing the rounds, but good to see you guys able to get on the park and get a solid win. I mean, this game was dead to rights at three-quarter time. You were 61 points up. And in junk time, the Tigers managed to put, 6 on the board in the last quarter, 6-3. But the game was dead and buried by then. Interestingly enough, Corey Waters against his old club was the named best on ground, and he was very, very good. And the most concerning thing, I think, for Kimber here, other than the fact that your boys were basically far too good for them with a whole heap of first-choice players out, the most concerning thing for Kimber here is their best players were, shall we say, not getting any younger, I think is probably the best way to put it.
Yeah, I've lost quite a few from last year's side, Kimber, so a lot of experience. Kate Tempe, Riley Mason down to there, they're two of the best players in EP the last 5 years. So obviously Diesel's still leading the charge there. He played a ripping game, but a lot of youth in that side. So yeah, they're quite competitive, but obviously a great chance for a lot of their kids to step up and have a crack. So been biding their time, probably in the B grade and even coming out of the senior Colts. Young Steph Gregory, he's going to be a big kid when he finishes growing. So opportunities there for them to grow, I'm sure. And much like us last year, more you can blood and more games you get into them, the better off you'll be in the long term.
That's true. Yep. Burger Fitz booted 4. Brandon Waters for you guys booted 4 as well. Tyson Jackson, Nick Pengelly, Ben McKenna, Remy North, they're all in the goals. Clint Winter, some big names there. Good to see them all playing together and hopefully getting some consistent footy next to each other.
Absolutely. We definitely missed the likes of Squirt, Winter the week before, particularly up forward against Ports. We were just quite top-heavy and slow, so really good to inject a bit of pace around the forward line and get the pressure back around the ball. Between Squirt and Brandon Waters, there's plenty of pace, plenty of toughness, so really, really good to have quite a lockdown forward happening and get the ball in and result still.
A good day for the club all round, actually. 3 of the 4 games finished in a Storm victory, so the Rezzies had a good win as well, so club's going all right early doors.
Yeah, each grade's had a 1-for-1 now, so that's a fantastic start, particularly after last year. Didn't have a lot of success other than the senior Colts. So, yeah, looking forward to what the year can bring and to get everyone on the park and be quite competitive across all grades. You can't ask for much more than that. So definitely wouldn't have wanted to go back a couple of years, mate. We were 16 out of that side 2 years ago. We probably weren't even bumping up. So, it's nice to have the depth and the numbers to be able to make sure we get the teams on the path every week.
Yep, spot on. That's important. But we'll move on to the other game, and it was the match of the round, the top of the table clash, and these two sides are the teams that I guess you guys will be chasing throughout the season. Ports taking on the Rangers, and it was a more accurate in front of goal Ports getting the job done by just 6 points, 12-8-80. To an inaccurate Rangers 10-14-74. They had their opportunities here, the Rangers, to get the job done. They led at half-time narrowly. It was a 5-3 third term that got Ports right back in the hunt. In fact, put them in front at three-quarter time, and they did enough to hang on. They're a quality unit, Ports. They just find a way to get it done.
I see Bobby Rack wasn't playing on the weekend as well, but looks like it would have been a ripping game of footy to watch. And you touched on it, Eastern Rangers' inaccuracy is probably what cost them the game in the end. So, yeah, plenty of opportunities and shots on goal. Few boys out. I think Reese Benke's still out injured for Rangers. So, definitely the two teams will be chasing for the year, mate. So, Rangers probably got riddled by injuries at the wrong time of the year last year and fell away leading to finals, whereas Port come in with a full bill of health. So, very interesting result. We've got Rangers next weekend, so that'll tell us where we are after Port goes to touch up in the first week.
Yeah, spot on. Well, some very good footballers. You mentioned Bobby Rack didn't play, but the other Rackawassa did. Now there's two of them. What's going on out there at Ports?
It's pretty handy inclusion, isn't it, having Magic come back, mate? He just runs around and does it pleases down back, just accumulates the football and runs all day. So, yeah, they've got quite a tall, mobile back line too. So they're going to be hard to match up on all year. They're big-bodied mids in there as well. So really well-balanced side. Bobby's got it really well drilled. So definitely for mine, they're the team chasing.
And they've picked up a couple out of Lincoln as well. I mean, Jake Turner's played for them before. He was a junior star at Lincoln South, so he's been at Ports for a little while now. But I noticed out of Lincoln South Footy Club, Jaden Blewett's up there running around for them as well, and he's a fit young go-getter as well. So they've got some real depth in this side now, along with the usual suspects, Masters, Prime, of course, Evan Hunt is still going around. Cooper Llewellyn's a star. Tommy Davey. They've got some serious depth now, this team, and that's really what you need at senior level, isn't it? Your top 10, obviously you want them to be as good as possible, but it's your next 10 that normally win premierships.
Absolutely, mate. It's that last half a dozen in that side that sort of sets you up, particularly in country footy. So they got some quality depth across their A grade now, and the handful they've got up from Lincoln are obviously they've just added to that. So we'll see if they can keep that clean bill of health like they did towards the end of last year. They're going to be really hard to beat. But as we've seen with Rangers and even Timber last year, you only have to lose a couple out of your side and Bruce can fall off pretty good.
That's very true. So we move to round 4. Let's have a look at it. First of all, Kimber taking on the Rangers, and I fear for the Tigers in this one. This is a club that's battling at the moment, the Tigers, and the Rangers is never a good time to get them, but coming off a loss in a game that maybe they should have won is never a good time. They love beating up on Kimber when they get the opportunity, the Eastern Rangers, and I have a sneaking suspicion they may well do so this weekend. Rangers will have a comfy win here, mate. They're not an overly tall side, but they're quite fit, quick, and they've got exceptional skills. So I think coming up against the inexperienced Kimber boys, they'll be upright picking. So I imagine they'll be keen to bounce back after last week's loss, and with that percentage, another kick after their first week of the year. So definitely great. All right. Ports have the bye. They'll put the feet up and enjoy their win for an extra week from last weekend. But your boys, Central Eyre United, are at home this week at Warrnambool. So not at Kynecarta this week, at Warrnambool against Cow, who will come up the highway. And the Cats, they've been struggling to start the year, but Central Eyre United, my goodness me, if you guys don't win this, I'll fair dinkum eat this microphone. Hopefully
got a few back in from the weekend too. Just Stringer's hopefully coming out of COVID. So a few more to come back in. Obviously, track the legs will be affected most, but yeah, hopefully we can have a decent win on the weekend, mate. Cal, they're always competitive. We'll just, a bit like everyone knows, if COVID disappeared, their depth hopefully will be as the first month. It's definitely been a challenge for them and everyone to get the side out there and beat each week.
Yeah, and that is their challenge, Cal, is to try and improve the bottom end of that list. Like I said, you can probably grab the top 10 players on paper and put them next to each other for all 5 clubs, and there wouldn't be much between them. But it's at that next 10 player mark where the wheat separates from the chaff, so to speak.
Absolutely, mate, and particularly looking ahead, obviously Mortlock coming up in a month's time, but yeah, you can throw a blanket over the top 5 or 6 players out of every side. It's just the depth that is generally the difference. So yeah, if you can lift those half a dozen guys that are part of your A grade that don't necessarily sit in the top 10 at that same level, that's generally the best.
Yeah, yep. All right, mate. Anything else to mention about the club? You got any functions coming up soon, or anything we need to know about?
Last week we had a pink round, mate. So a lot of others have mental health round, but Eastern Eyre had a pink round, and pretty close to the heart cause for both us and Kimber. So fundraising efforts managed to raise touch over $4,000 during the day. So really proud of our community and people pitching in and digging deep into their pockets, mate. So it was given the crowd numbers were down significantly, it was a great result for the work that the girls put in today, and always a date on the calendar we look forward to every year.
Good stuff, mate. All right, well, that's where we'll leave it. We'll let you continue to go up and back and up and back, and thanks for spending some time with us to go through what's happening there in Eastern Eyre footy. Good luck for the weekend. We'll talk to you next week, or the week after, in fact. We'll talk to you in a couple of weeks.
Sounds good, mate. Look forward to it. Cheers, guys.